So, I will like share the detailed explanation of these basic concepts. So I will just go through, right? So in the basic concepts, we will learn basic definitions and different relationship of quality assurance and testing, right? And then we will talk about the software quality, right? So there are like so many definitions that was for this terminology called quality, right? So in our case, like in our life, so we are satisfied that if we are satisfied whatever requirement of the product, it can be either clothing item or laptop or maybe even a meal, right? Food item, right? So if it is able to satisfy us, so we think that that one is quality, right? So based on those, like there are so many definitions and these are the selected one, right? So meeting the requirements of the customer, right? And the degree of excellence, measure of excellence, विशिष्टत्व में विशिष्टत्व प्रमाण, the degree of excellence, right? Likewise, for the quality, we have so many definitions, right? So this ISO 9000 definition is somewhat like a standardized one from the International Standard Organization. And yeah, this was in the examination paper for your software quality, right? So who is responsible for quality? So everyone is responsible. It's not only the quality assurance team, right? So the developers have to develop a quality software code. So in case there can be issues, so in that case, quality assurance engineer will find those issues and will ask to correct those issues. So you can see each and every person is responsible for this quality. That is not a single person task, right? So the quality has two characteristics. So since we are consuming either products or services, so we can have quality characteristics for each these product and service. So the products, for example, mobile application, mobile phone, computer, some sort of wearable device, etc. And service will be something like Gmail service, Google Drive, Dropbox, those kind of things, right? So each and every product or service will contain unique set of characteristics for quality. So you can see the world most valuable brands, right? So this was taken in 2017. So the Apple is the most valuable brand, and Google, Microsoft, Samsung, Toyota, yeah, Benz, you can see, right? So when it comes to this Apple, Google, Microsoft, these are the reason behind of these being most valuable brands in the world. It's because it's able to satisfy the customers. They are providing a very good quality services or products. So when it comes to the Toyota and Mercedes-Benz, that is also same, although these are automobile brands, right? So when you are like willing to purchase a vehicle, or in some case it might be your dream, right? You will always go for BMWs, Benz, then Toyota, but not Suzuki Swift, right? But not Peugeot, right? So you can see how quality is appearing in the world market, right? And also, so forget about these world most valuable brands, right? You guys are doing a final year projects, right? So your grade, the final result for your project will be higher when your product is covering or satisfying the stated objectives or the requirements. Basically, what you are doing is making a quality product. So you need to develop a quality project in order to have a minus to A plus. That is the simple logic in everywhere, right? So when it comes to product quality dimension, so we have 6 altogether according to the ISO 9126-1, right? So like these are some sort of theoretical stuff, right? Since like you have to do the SLTC content and the Coursera content, so I'm not much focusing on these theoretical stuff, right? So I think that would be easy for your lives. So anyway, you need to understand what are these terminologies, that's all, right? So when it comes to the functionality, according to the word functionality, so it's basically talking about the product functions. So the essential or the core product or core value of any given product, right? So for example, if you are developing a pizza ordering system, that particular product system should be able to give you a client to opportunity to order a pizza, but not to listen to a song, right? So that is the functionality, right? So to be honest, right? So if we compare our experience of current model and the last year creative system, so which one is having more functionalities? It's LMS, but not the creatives, right? So, and you know what is the most quality product as, right? I believe you can remember that creative system, right? Okay, so these are the sub characteristic of this functionality. So in order to become some sort of product to be a functional working properly or achieving the quality of functionality, so it should satisfy these 5 sub characteristics: suitability, accurateness, interoperability, compliance, and security, right? So then the second aspect, so it's reliability. So reliability is something like reliable කියන්නේ නිකන් අර sure system. You are very much sure about your system. It's because the software is failure free software, right? So if you compare your experience with LMS versus Creatix, the Creatix had so many downtimes, and LMS is having very less number of downtimes with compared to the Creatix, right? So and yet because of that we are telling the most reliable one is LMS, right? So these are the 3 sub characteristics of reliability. And the usability is there. So it's basically, it should be easy to use a given function. So if you have the experience of using Hotmail or the Microsoft email versus Gmail, so Gmail is very much easy to use, right? Hotmail is utter mess, right? I'm not blaming the Hotmail, but like still I can't manage my work in the Hotmail, but I can like very much easy to understand and learn the Gmail, right? So the usability have three sub-characteristics: understandability, learnability, operability. So when it comes to the efficiency, so this characteristic is basically concerned in terms of the use system resources to provide the given functionality. Right? So the resources could be either disk space, memory, network usage, data, etc. Right? So you have that experience. So the LMS loading time is very much low when we compare with the Creative's loading time. Right? And like when the resource is out, the Department of Examination website is it's slower than a snake, right? So this is all about the efficiency. So in the efficiency, we have two sub-characteristics. So it can be either time behavior or the resource behavior. The resource behavior is mainly focusing on the resources usage. කොච්චර resource පාවිච්චි කරනවද කියන එක තමයි resource behavior එකේදී cover වෙන්නේ. But when it comes to the time behavior, so it's basically the response time. For example, when you click a button, there is like a no or the standard, the page, or whatever loading should be less than 4 to 5 seconds. So less than 1 or 2 seconds means your time behavior is very perfect, right? So when it comes to the maintainability, so it's basically talking about the maintenance part of the product. So the system should be able to identify the issue and fix it in a very short time period. So in that case, maintainability will be high, right? Then these are the 4 sub-characteristics of maintainability. And we have the portability. So the portability is basically talking about the cross-platform compatibility or the platform independence, right? So for example, let's assume like you have a product which is so let's assume you are developing some sort of software, right? So let's take Tihara's blockchain system. I think you are doing blockchain or something like that, right? So so your system should be able to run. If your system is able to run either Mac OS, Windows, Linux, etc., so your system is not dependent on any sort of platform. So in that case, your product is a portable, having really enriched with portability, right? So in some products are there, so that is only only up and running in the Windows, right? So in that case, it is not a portable, having the portability quality aspect, right? So these are the 3 characteristics of portability. So give me 5 seconds. I have Okay, sorry and thank you very much. My cat was outside and it's raining, so I have to take she into the room, right? Okay, thank you. So, so these are the service quality dimensions. So in the service quality dimensions, your life is very much easy. So it's because you are only having 5 software quality dimensions, but we are not going to talk about the sub characteristics, right? So the tangible, reliability, responsiveness, assurance, and empathy are the service quality dimensions. So then, I think you know these terminologies, right? Do I need to revise? So anyway, this section will be appear in your exam paper, right? This is like some sort of promising question that is always appearing in every software testing or software quality paper, right? So I will just go through it, right? So you know one question of your final examination paper right now. Okay, the quality control or the QC is a like a subset of this software quality thing, right? And it's a sort of set of activity that help you to ensure the quality in the product, right? So basically at the end of the production, people will select or people will investigate the product and then identify the defects or the bugs, right? So usually the QC is happening at the end of the production process. So it's a some sort of, in that case, so once the product is produced, then only care about identifying defects, but not focusing at the very beginning. So in that case, it's a some sort of reactive process, right? It's because ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එක හදලා වැරදිත් එක්ක හැදෙනකම් බලාගෙන ඉන්නවා වැරදුනහම තමයි මතක් වෙන්නේ වැරදුනා කියලා වැඩි ටික වැරදිච්ච ටික හදා. So that is reactive process. But when it comes to the quality assurance, which is like some sort of which like advanced case, so that is the reverse side of the quality control. So the QA is another set of activity that will ensure the quality in the process of the product development. Production process එක quality එක ensure කරන එක තමයි quality assurance වලින් මූලික වශයෙන් සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ. Right? So it will aim to prevent any sort of defects in the process that is used to make the product. So since the quality assurance is more focusing on the early stages of the production process, so it's some sort of proactive quality process with respect to the quality control. වැරද්දක් අවසානයේ වේවි කියන assumption එක මත ඉඳගෙන මෙයා බලනවා quality assurance activities කරන්නේ වෙන්න පුළුවන් issues ටික අයින් කරනවා product process එකේ production process එකේ, right? So that is the proactive quality process. So then these are like there are so many comparison for the QA and QC. So you can see it's some sort of like yin yang. So this is like the Chinese yin yang symbol. So like so in the quality assurance, we do basically the prevention. We try to prevent defects from being introduced to the production process. But in the quality control, it's basically detect when the product is finished, right? Yes. Now we have the objectives testing. So that's like these are right. Yeah, I have repeat those things in the software quality lecture as well. Anyhow, like objectives of testing. So when it comes to the objectives of testing, you the first thing is finding defects. So from when you find the defects, you can have some sort of confidence about the level of the quality. ගොඩාක් defects හම්බ වෙනවා කියන්නේ වාගේ confidence එකක් නැහැ quality එක. Oh my goodness. Am I going to what will happen to my product quality, right? So for example, ඔයගොල්ලෝ දැන් code එකක් ලියලා තෝ ගාලා එක දිගට errors වෙනවා. So in that case what you feel? මගේ code එක නම් මේ ලෝකේ රහකට නැහැ. So that is your term, but what is talking about is the level of the quality, right? Providing information for decision making is another objective of testing, and also the preventing defects also the objective of defects. So the defect is some sort of like a mistake or the error, right? Which is done by the human being, and this will might be able to produce a defect or a fault or bug in the program code or in a document or whatever artifact, right? So if the code or whatever the item is executed, system might fail to do what is expected to do, or something else will be do, which is basically causing a failure. So and there is like another important point. Not all defects are making failures. හැම defect එකක්ම system එක fail කරන්නේ සමහර like so in my experience, so like we have the CodeGen have like 18 years 18 years old product. So some errors are identified 10 years back, but still that error is there, but system is functioning well, no failures, right? That can happen, right? Okay, now we have the 6 testing principles. So we have like 6 concepts of doing this software testing. So the one is software testing shows the presence of defects. So the testing is able to show that the product is consists of defects, but it cannot prove that there are no defects. අවුරුදු 100ක් එකම product එක test කරා වාට කියන්න බෑ prove කරන්න බෑ defects නැහැ කියලා. So that is the nature of products, and the exhaustive testing is impossible. So the exhaustive testing is impossible. So the exhaustive testing is testing each and everything. So that is not feasible, right? So even a simple registration form or very simple login can have more than 100 combinations. So the testing everything is a read. That is not feasible, and we are not going to do that, right? So and then the early testing, the third principle is, if you start the testing in the early stages, then you can identify the defects early, and you can remove those defects very easily in the on a low cost, right? Then the fourth principle is defect clustering. So the defects are like have some sort of clusters or groups. So it means, so let's assume you have a system. So it has a login, registration, and payment gateway, and then yeah, let's assume that these are three modules or the components, right? Usually defects will be appear in a very higher rate in the payment gateway with respect to the login and registration, right? So that is the defect clustering. So when you like develop a software, so you might feel you can have that experience as well. So if you have a machine learning part, so that module usually can have higher density of defects, higher amount of defects, but not the registration module or the login, right? That is this defect clustering. And then we have the pesticide paradox. So the pesticide paradox is usually called bug killer effect. So it means, so if I talk the background story of this, so when you use the same pesticide, Kruminashaka, for a long time of period for a one particular pest, so by the time that particular pest will adapt to that chemical. So that was happened in the Sri Lanka. So later for the malaria, I think like the chemical is DT, DO, something like this. So we have used that chemical and we were able to eliminate this malaria from our country. And the WHO, UNICEF, we were like praised. We are the first South Asian country which eliminate the malaria. But we have like, so the relevant people have used this chemical for long time, and what was happen is the next malaria wave we can't manage with that chemical. It's because they have adapt with that, right? So the pesticide paradox is that. So when it comes to the software testing, so we need to what we call if we are like using the same set of test cases or the techniques for the given component for a long time, we won't able to find any new defects. So in that case, we need to revise and review those test cases regularly. පොඩ්ඩක් අපි අපේ අර කෘමිනාශකේ වෙනස් කරන්න. So that same thing is applied to software testing. So in order to identify the defects, අපි පාවිච්චි කරන පලිබෝධනාශකේ හෝ කෘමිනාශකේ වන්නේ test cases. So we have to we need to change it over time. And the testing is context dependent. Yes, it is. It's because අපි අපේ product එකේ purpose එක අනුව testing වෙනස් වෙනවා. For example, if you are building a safety critical software, so its purpose is different, so the safety related testing is appearing there. But when you develop some sort of e-commerce website which is having basically this money I mean the electronic transactions, so the security aspect is the most highest one. So in that case, those kind of testing is appear or the demanded very high, right? So the testing is context dependent. So this is the next slide is telling about the software test process. So it's basically having 5 process: test, planning and control, analysis and design, implementation and execution, evaluate, exit criteria and reporting, then the text closure. Right? So you can just go through these set of words, slides. Anyhow, so you will be learning this test, analysis and design, implementation and execution, evaluate, exit criteria. So these 3 steps you will be learning in the next set of sessions, right? And we have so many different types of testing. These are like very small list, right? So these testing types will be used depend on the situation or the level of the software or the purpose of the software or the customer requirement, etc. Right? So then we have the relationship of quality assurance and the testing. So so we need to make the customer is expecting a quality product, right? So if you can provide a quality product, which means you can gain the customer satisfaction. So in order to deliver a quality product, so you need to assure this quality, right? So in order to assure the quality, there is a very important activity called software testing. So that is the relationship, these 3 terminologies: quality assurance and testing, right? So if I ask this one in your final examination paper, so you have to explain this relationship, right? And we have the cost of quality. So in the cost of quality, so we have basically quality, time and cost, right? So and like we have 2 separate cases, right? Cost of internal failure, cost of external failure. So sorry, 4 types of cost of quality, right? So the first one is cost of internal failure. So the internal failure means your system is failed internally. So the developers has developed the product, and then QA team is started the software testing, and they have identified and report different issues or the defects. So there is some sort of cost, the cost of fixing these internally identified defects before the delivery. So these costs are considered as cost of internal failure. Always remember, this cost is not talking about the money. It is in terms of money, time, and the effort or the resource usage, right? And we have another cost of failure, which is external failure. So other way around of the internal failure. So your product is delivered to the customers, and customers have identified the different defects. So in order to fix those defects, you have to bear a cost. So that is the cost of external failure, right? What defect එක report වෙන්නේ ඔය team එක ඇතුලේ නෙමෙයි, ඔයාගේ ආයතනය ඇතුලේ නෙමෙයි, ආයතනයෙන් පිට customer කෙනෙක්ගේ. එතකොට තමයි අපි කියන්නේ external failure එකක් කියලා. Right? So then we have the cost of prevention. So when it comes to the cost of prevention, so in this case, you can see මේවා developer ගේ හරි දැන් උදාහරණයක් වශයෙන් cost of internal failure ගත්තාම මේක development එකේ තියෙන issues තමයි අහුවේ. external failure එකද වෙන්නේ QA team එකයි BA team එකයි අතින් මේ මොනවද ඒකට කියන්නේ loose feature defects. right ඔන්න ඔය කියන developer ගේ අතින් හෝ QA engineer ගේ හෝ BA ගේ අතින් වෙන්න පුළුවන් issues ටික වළක්වන්න අපිට යම් කිසි cost එකක් දරන්න වෙනවා. ඒ cost එක තමයි cost of prevention and cost of detection කියලා තියෙන්නේ. right so in order to so the cost of prevention is something like you try to reduce the you try to minimize this internal failure. So you know internal failure, the reason of internal failures are development issues. So if your developers is very good, highly trained people, so the probability of internal failure is less. So that's why as the cost of prevention වළක්ව ගන්න internal failure එකක් ඇති වෙන්න තියෙන සම්භාවිතාව අඩු කරගන්න ඕගොල්ලෝ මොකද කරන්නේ developers ලා train කරනවා. right developers ලාව train කරන්නේ මොකටද හොඳ code එකක් ලියලා. හොඳ code එකක් ලියනවා කියලා කියන්නේ ඒගොල්ලෝ අතින් internal failures වෙන්න තියෙන සම්භාවිතාවය අඩු වෙනවා. So simple as that, and there is a connection. So then external failure කියලා කියන්නේ දැන් developer හදලා දෙන product එකේ එයා QA team එකටයි BA team එකටයි අහු වෙන්නේ නැහැ issues. So it's the QA and BA team is failing to understand the identify the defects. So in that case we need to reduce that one as well. So what we are doing is we are bearing a cost called cost of detection. So what we are doing is basically we try to enrich our software testing by writing test cases, configuring different test environments, test automation, and reviewing the requirements. So by those kind of activities, we try to minimize this external failure cost, right? So that is the way it's happening. So do you have any questions? Good question, right?